All right. All right, welcome back to the Faith and Work Hour. I told you we'll be back. We just took a small intermission, but we back live in good health. I hope everybody out there is doing good. We're gonna start off with an inspirational quote. It says, "Ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let what happens around you get inside you and weigh you down." I like that quote there. I know we've been off for a minute, but like I said, we back and we're gonna have guests at some point, and we're gonna be right back doing what we do. But we're gonna start off right now with a story. Well, we got two stories, but the first one we're gonna start off with is one that it kind of intrigued me just a little bit. And the thing about this story is, if you don't mind, it don't make any sense. And I know everybody heard about it. It's called the Carlee Russell incident, the young lady that was in Birmingham that claimed she was kidnapped. And well, guess what? We found out that it was all a lie. And well, anyway, we found out that it was some falsehoods in this story. What I'm getting to is the Hoover. This coming from the ABC News. It says the Hoover Police Department released new details Tuesday night about the disappearance and return of Carlee Russell. Now, it says the night Russell disappeared, the police department said she went to Target on Highway 280 after leaving her job and purchased some snack foods items. Now, that's kind of interesting to me. Ironically, before you get kidnapped, you go and buy snacks. But who am I to judge? We're not here to judge. Then it says the police said these items were not located inside her abandoned vehicle or with her cell phone and wig at the scene of her disappearance on Interstate 459. You know what? This story is it's kind of crazy because that's some things you do and that's things you don't do. You do not fake your own kidnapping. You got the police power that's putting forth effort to locate you, and then come to find out you're not going anywhere. And let's just be honest. I'm just gonna be blatantly honest. As black people, as black women, they really don't put a lot of effort in some cases to look for us. And by you faking your own kidnapping, you just set black women back, because now there's no guarantee that they're going to put any effort behind it. They might, but that's a gamble that you should never take. And right now that's kind of dumb that you would do something like that. You put all your family on Front Street. You got them worried about you. You got them putting up ransom for you for your safe return. And then all of a sudden you pop up out of the clear blue sky, walking back. And the police got on camera. They seen you walking down the street, going back to your house, and you didn't look distraught until you got close to your house. Come on now. We got to do better than that. You can't be that. You just can't do stuff like that, because you set women in general back, and especially African American women, which we know and by history, and they do not put a lot of effort on locating them. So now what we hope is that the police doesn't use this as a springboard to say, well, it done been happening before, so it could be faked again. And that's something that you don't really ever want to put yourself in, that kind of position, but that's the kind of position Carlee Russell put us in. And it's funny that her boyfriend come out and say, would y'all please quit cyberbullying? Okay, we're not. Let's talk three. We against bullying of all sorts, kinds, and in any fashion. But when you tell them the truth about a person, it's not cyberbullying. It's facts. It's facts that she faked it. It's fact that was no child or no evidence of a child being on Interstate 459. It's fact that she bought snacks before she disappeared. It's fact that she got on her cell phone and Googled about disappearing, how to do it, the means, and all that. This is fact. That's not cyberbullying. That's telling the truth. And to me, there's no excuse for that, because that only thing that does is sets us back. And we hope that the police do not use her as a springboard to make excuses of why they don't search for Black women. And you know, we can sit here and bury our head in the sand like an ostrich all we want. She lied. Her family, if you can look, you can go back and look at the interview that they did with her mother and father. They looked lost up there. They'd had no answers for anything. And why would you put your family in that kind of position? You're never supposed to do that. And once again, we do not advocate for cyberbullying or any kind of bullying of any kind. But when you tell them the truth on somebody, it's not cyberbullying. It's fact. And what they need to understand is she has got to be held accountable for what she did. There has got to be consequences. If not, if there are no consequences, the next person think they can do the exact same thing. There has to be consequences behind this. You know, the story even goes in depth. They said the police said the footage is from Russell's neighborhood and shows her walking down the sidewalk alone prior to her arrival at her residence. Fire department radio traffic obtained by several media outlets showed that medics were dispatched to her residence on an unresponsive but breathing person. What does that even mean? Unresponsive. That she was not going to talk to him? You know what? This is what I say about that. Whoever did her planning needs to be fired, because this was not planned out right whatsoever, God-given ever. Her facts was gone, and there's no justification of her behavior. Then we found out she just got fired from a spa job the night before. I mean, that same night, if I'm not mistaken. And then she got fired from UAB. Now, at some point, there's a history of this. And I don't know if she has mental issues. We're not here to judge mental, because we don't, our group does not do that. But we do try to help people who have mental issues that we know. But we don't help them. We'll locate somebody that can help you. But come on, we can't make excuses up for this. There's no excuse for this. This was uncalled for, unnecessary, and unprovoked. So she has to do better than that. And it says police said numerous items are still being evaluated, and those items are key in the process of determining exactly what took place. In approximately 49 hours, Carlee was missing, but also what took place prior to her disappearance. That was a waste of manpower. I don't know if they got donations or GoFundMe to find it. We're not sure about that. So we don't do speculation. But if they did, they're going to have to return every bit of that money. If they did now. But she's going to have to be held accountable, because this was not one of the smartest things you could have done. And if you did this for attention, this is horrible. If you did this just to take 2 days off from anybody, guess what you could have done? You could have just said, I'm going away for 2 days and I'll be back. That's simple. It's not nothing difficult. It's not nothing complicated. That's what all she had to do. Guess what she didn't do? She didn't do that. And she put everybody around her. Can you, I just want everybody to just imagine this. Your child missing for 2 days. You find her abandoned car. You find her keys. You find her cell phone, her wig. You find all that in her car. What is going through her parents' mind? What is going through her brother's, sister's mind if she have? Can you imagine the torture that she put her family through for nothing? Now, I ain't the brightest person in the world. I'm smart enough not to do that. If I need some days off, I'll just take 2 days off, 3 days off, and we'll move on from that. But we will not fake this. Let's just be honest. We have a hard enough time recovering Black people that are missing as it is. We do not need one that's faking. because that just sets us back. Let's just say, and there's more Black women that go missing than Black men. And there's more women in general, Black or white, that goes missing. She just didn't put Black women back. She put all women back. So we cannot, it's got to be some consequences about your actions. It's got to be something that has to be done to you. And you know what? They say, well, I've heard been put in a mental institution. A friend of mine said that is not the answer. So my question to y'all, what is the answer? But there has to be some consequences somewhere. You just can't let things, right? Because it's just like the gun violence. It's a copycat league. And one person do it, another person do it, another person do it. So when you get distraught, confused, frustrated, this is what you want to turn to? No, ma'am, we don't turn to this. We cannot turn to this, because then what is that going to leave us at? We have to be better than this. And to me, she has to pay a penalty, pay a price behind doing this fake kidnapping. We just cannot allow this to go on unchecked. You know, I look at it like this. Women have a hard enough time as it is. So the last thing you want to do is to set them back. And especially Black women. You do not want to do that, because that is just foolishness. And, you know, another friend of mine asked me, Napo asked me, and I don't have an answer for this. Maybe one of y'all got an answer for this. Why? What is the purpose? What could she possibly been thinking? Oh, hold on, excuse me. She wasn't thinking. There was no thought in this. None whatsoever, God-given ever. And if it was, and somebody help you, you don't never need them to help you in anything else from this point on. Because you're not good at strategizing anything at this point. But it's foolishness. We're gonna move on from Miss Russell, because that's really nothing else you can say about her. I'm just gonna let it go at that. But what I want to get into on the next subject is this white Florida woman charged with manslaughter and shooting of a Black neighbor. The thing about that is, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest for a second. It was racially motivated. let's not fool ourselves. It was racially motivated. It's been documented, and this article once again comes from ABC News. It is documented that she had done racial slurs to that young lady kids. She threw items at that young lady kids for doing what? Playing in the yard, playing in the parking lot, or empty lot that she didn't like, evidently. The one thing about this subject is you can eliminate stand your ground, because this not stand your ground. Even the sheriff said it was not stand your ground. So you can eliminate that stand your ground crap, because it's not stand your ground. This was a hate crime. Now they won't label it as a hate crime. They did it as a manslaughter. It is a hate crime. They had a history of this. This is not the first time this young lady and this woman has had an encounter. I wish something was done before it got to this point, before it escalated to this point. But guess what? It didn't. You know, I've heard people say, well, she was threatened. How you threaten when you on the inside of the house, the lady on the outside of the house? She wasn't gonna knock the door down. You shot through the door. That was intentionally premeditated. Let me tell y'all grown people something. Y'all grown women, grown men. If you have a problem with somebody's kids, you go to their mother or father. You do not deal with it through their kids. If you're supposed to be grown, you act like you're grown. You deal with the adults. You don't deal with the child. And to deal with the child and to do what she did, she should never see the day of light again. And in my opinion, I think the punishment should fit the crime. But unfortunately, Florida does not quite see it that way for manslaughter. And let's just call it like we see it. It was racially motivated. We're not going to say anything. We're not going to bury our head in the sand and act like this wasn't it. The problem about things going on right now is everybody says they know it's racially motivated, but they won't say it's racially motivated. The only way to stamp this out is first you got to accept there is a problem. There is a problem. When a neighbor shoots another neighbor through the door, that's an issue. And then they like to use, well, it was stand my ground, I fed threat. No, they don't stand your ground. The sheriff made that perfectly clear. He said, this is not stand your ground. It's on record. She admitted that she said racial slurs to those kids. Can you imagine, as a parent, I can't imagine at 9 years old seeing my mama shot in front of me. I can't see that. I can't imagine that. That's going to traumatize him from this point on. Traumatize all his kids, all her kids from that point on. Because she didn't like the color of somebody's skin. Do you dislike somebody that much that this is what you resort to? I don't feel sorry for her. It's nothing about, I don't feel sorry for anybody who does something what's considered a hate crime. And if you kill somebody because of a color, to me, and by law, it should be a hate crime. And if I'm not mistaken, it is a law that you can kill the person because of the way they look or the color of their skin. And that's a shame and disgrace. This should be an open and shut case because she admitted she threw racial slurs. So I don't really see how long this shouldn't even drag on. If I'm on a jury, 20 minutes and now we done. We don't even need to take a break at this point. You know, we like to bury our head in the sand and act like racism don't exist. Let me tell you how you stamp out racism. When people that, let me make sure I get this quote right. Now, I rehearsed this all day. I had this quote in my head earlier. Now it says, change will happen when people who are not affected or as outraged as the people that are. So when you are not affected, but you are just as outraged, that's when change will happen. But if we keep acting like it don't exist, acting like, okay, well, she was just having that episode. Well, this episode was going on for years. If she was having this much mental problems with anybody, then she should be put somewhere, a mental institution to me, in my thing. And they say, well, you crude for saying that. Maybe, maybe not. All I know is, see, the thing about killing somebody is 2 lives are destroyed. The person that shot and the person who pulled the trigger. So 2 lives are destroyed. If you don't like a person, deal with it, sit down with them, talk to them, try to find out, get some common ground somewhere. Violence has never solved anything, and it only requires more violence. And then I heard somebody say, she decided to move. Ironically, you decided to move when you did it. That's not moving, it's called running. So you knew you did something wrong. You know what I said? If you didn't commit a crime, why would you run? You ran because you did something wrong. You know, I hate hearing stories like that, but unfortunately, these stories exist. So ironically, we got 2 women here. One who racially profiled a next door neighbor, killed her. So you got 3, 4, 5 kids that doesn't have a mother now because of your stupidity. And I don't care if I get any kickback off this. I'm gonna call it like I said, that was stupid, that was ignorant, that was dumb. There's no reason to kill somebody because you don't like what they look like. Then you got another one that's equally as dumb that decide to play kidnap. You can tell we back, baby. We back in full effect now because this stuff has to be told. And we will tell it as a group. Let's Talk 3. We always are going to advocate on the side of right, and we always going to help people. But there's some people that we can't help. And there's some, and you know the sad thing about it is some people that don't want help. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to help those who want help. And we're going to help everybody in the community that we possibly can because everybody deserves a chance. Nobody deserves to see their parents shot and killed in front of them. Nobody deserves to see their child shot and killed in front of them. Nobody deserves to think their child is being kidnapped when they have not. That's just as bad. because it's the unknown that you said. Can you imagine what them parents, Carlee Russell's parents went through for 2 nights straight, thinking the worst? Because normally when you do find them, they normally dead. So can you just imagine what they were going through day and night because somebody who wanted to play hooky for 2 days? That's a joke. She a joke. Her boyfriends are equally as a joke because she mad because somebody is online telling the truth about it. Now, if you're talking about killing and all that, you need to be ashamed of yourself because you don't do that. But that's how it is. Person, just give me an update on the shoulder injury. Had a successful surgery on June 30th. Still in the process of rehabbing, as they say. And like about another month, maybe 2, and I'll be back at 100%. But that's just mostly what it was. It was a little bit more than I thought it was, so that's why I had to do an extended time off. But it's coming along real good. As you see, I'm not wearing the brace anymore. They gave me permission to take it off, so we back in live and we back good to go. Like I say, it ain't gonna stop us from doing the show now. So the worst part of it is over, but the process is it was a good process. I had a great doctor who did the surgery, so Dr. Lindenberg, he's been well known around Troy, so he did a good job on it. He keeps up with it. He keeps telling me that I got to move, I got to do this, but he said, don't overdo it. So any of y'all who have surgery, I don't care how much you want to push yourself, don't push yourself to the limit. When you get to the point where it hurting too bad, stop. Never over exert yourself, because what happens is, as they told me, if you try to go too fast, too soon, you're gonna have to do the surgery all over again, and then you back to square A. You don't want to go back to square A. I'm gonna tell you something. That nerve blocking, they ain't no joke. That stuff will have you on. You don't feel nothing for 24 hours. When they say 24 hours, they mean 24 hours. And I heard, well, I'll be glad when the feeling come back. No, you don't. You're not glad when the feeling come back, because once you feel your shoulder, you're gonna feel everything that comes with it. So just take your time. Don't let nobody tell you how you feel. You tell them how you feel. Don't let them tell you how you feel, because it's easy to re-injure. And a shoulder injury, which is around your rotator cuff, is one of the easiest things to mess up, from what I was told, and one of the hardest things to heal from. So you want to make sure that you take your time and you make sure that everything that you do is according to what the doctors say do, not according to what you think you should do, and definitely not according to what everybody else thinks you should do. Well, you can go back to the gym. Yeah, if you're gonna go in there to talk to somebody, but you ain't gonna lift no weights or anything, unless you're gonna use one arm, one dumbbell, the other arm now. You're gonna have one strong arm and one weak one. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, we back, and I'm doing good, as I said before, and we will not miss no more episodes. We got it now. We got it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back even stronger than we did before. So everybody have a good day. Once again, 2 fingers, peace. We see you next week.